guys, welcome to another edition of Market Marauders. First things first, hit that subscribe button down below, like, comment, share. So today I'll be giving you my top 3 option picks for the week. So let's dive into it. So for number 1, my option pick is Intel Corporation. So ticker sign INTC. So today, it's on a Sunday. They're currently at $59.60. But if we look since the end of August, they've been on a pretty big uptrend moving forward, and they've beaten their moving average 200, and they're above their moving average 50 as well. So those are always good signs when looking at a stock. So let's go into another chart. So another chart basically shows, let's go to their 1 month chart. Let's go to their 5-day chart. Okay, so their 5-day chart shows some fluctuation in the price. It's been up, it's been down, it went really low, but then it rose back up. Um, but I think it's still, pretty good, uh, in my opinion, because the company is doing a lot of things moving forward. Um, and they have their earnings coming up on the 23rd. So next week they're gonna have their earnings. So we'll get to see more about what the company's doing and how the company's performing. So just one of the things, uh, one of the articles in here that I just wanted to highlight: Intel acquires artificial intelligence chip maker Habana Labs. It says Intel Corporation today announced that it has acquired Habana Labs, an Israel-based developer for programmable deep learning accelerators for data centers, for approximately $2 billion. The combination strengthens Intel's artificial intelligence portfolio and accelerates its efforts in nascent, fast-growing AI market, which Intel expects to be greater than 25 billion by 2024. So Intel is basically, acquired this company to help their AI program, be more profitable. Um, you know, Intel is really big in AI, and they put a lot of development into it, and I think that's going to pay off. I know they use a lot of it for their data centers, and AI could be implemented in things like smart cars. Really, it has limitless applications, medical field, and I think that the effort that they're putting into AI will pay off in the long term, because there's a lot of move forward towards AI, and if you're the company that's providing the chips and the information and the data for it, I think you kind of lock the market down as far as AI is concerned. So when the earnings come out, we'll get to see how that's worked out for them profitability wise, because that was back in December. Also, they just recently did some demonstrations at CES. You guys can go look it up on YouTube. But they had some demonstrations of some other things that they were doing, which was pretty cool. I think that also helps investors to see which direction the company is moving and what they have planned. The earnings is basically going to be where they stand financially. So I think those two things combined, you could see the stock price going up. But I definitely would try to get an option out there for a call. Um, this is on Robinhood. If you guys don't have Robinhood, I have a link down below where you guys could sign up. Um, but I use Robinhood for my trading of options. But if we look on the week of January 24th, so their earnings is on the 23rd, so this would be the day after earnings. Um, their options aren't really that expensive, in my opinion. But if you have a small account out there and you're trading a small account, um, you probably want to go you probably have to go with the little riskier trade, something like 63 as a break-even price or strike price, or something like 62.96 is a strike price. If I was doing that, I'd probably give myself a buffer, and I'd probably go to like January 31st, and I'll probably give myself a strike price of 62.33 at or break even price at 62.33 at $83 because you got to think that Intel earnings is on the 23rd, and then the following day your call or put is going to expire. So it's not really enough time for the company stock to rally around the information or to soak the information in. If you wait and you have it the week after, it's going to give time for shareholders to digest the information or people who are interested in the stock to digest the information. They'll have the weekend to sit around and read about it or to hear about what's going on, and then you can see your price fluctuation either direction, up or down. But having your call in the day after earnings is kind of a very risky move, in my opinion. And when you're starting out, if you have the funds to, buy expensive calls, I mean, I'm all for it. But the main part that I would say is to learn from your calls and puts. So try to make a hypothesis and educated guess on how you think the stock's going to go, whether it's going to go up or down. If you win money, I mean, not win money, if you gain money or if you lose money, you know, those are always good things, but the main portion of it is to learn. So I always say to try to start out small when you're first starting out buying options. Um, don't dive in head first and buy like the most expensive call you see, and also don't buy the most risky call that you see. Um, you know, that can also be a bad thing as well. Buying extremely risky calls, um, you know, it can give you, tremendous profits if you're right, but it can also give you tremendous heartbreak if you're wrong. Um, so I would always say start off small, a couple of dollar fluctuation in price, if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, there are options on majority of stocks out there. So I would say start off with something that you can afford, set a budget aside, and the main portion of it is to learn from uh, your trading, so you become a better trader and not, just guessing or betting on luck that the stock price will go up or down. So for my number two option, I'm going to go with AMD. So AMD has been doing fantastic. They're above their 200, their MA 200, and they're above their MA 50. Their MA 200 is $33.32, and their MA 50 is $42.57. So today, which is on a Sunday, so on Friday, basically they ended at $50.93. And if we see by this chart, they've basically just soared since the beginning of October. They've continued to grow. So going to this chart, it's basically the same thing. Their 1 month chart just basically shows what was shown before, that they've continued to grow. Um, Going to one of their articles or one of their press releases, this came out the 6th of January. So AMD unveils 4 new desktop and mobile GPUs, including AMD Radeon RX 5600 series, ultimate 1080p gaming, breathtaking visuals, and game-changing software features. Purpose-built for legions of 1080p gamers, AMD Radeon RX 5600 series offers up to 20% faster performance on average across select AAA gaming and AAA games, and up to 10% faster performance on average across esport games than the competition. So going to the other one, AMD Radeon 5600 series. Graphics deliver incredible gameplay. New generation Alienware Aurora gaming desktop PC, and Dell G5 15 SE gaming laptops. New AMD FreeSync Premium 3 and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro to help gamers easily identify um, the ideal displays for best high resolution rate gaming experience. So basically, AMD is making strides forward to help gamers, and their software is improving that. They're saying it's a 20% faster performance and a 10% faster performance on average for select esport games. And If you guys know, esports is basically like taking over. Everyone is getting into esports. There are lots of esport teams out there, and AMD is basically supplying the equipment to make esport basically better. So that's always a huge thing. So the more esports grows, and the more AMD makes developments, the more the company will grow. Um, and this FreeSync technology, is really good for you guys that are gamers out there. FreeSync technology is fantastic, and the better it can get, uh, is always a good thing. So that's just shows you that they're making strides, and they're really kind of in this niche department uh, as far as computing and gaming goes, but they're in a market that is basically limitless because everyone who wants to get into esports uses these products. Most games that I seen on esports are all or PC based. All of them aren't, but a lot of them are. A lot of the popular ones are PC based, and for a company to be like the main um, contributor to the growth of the esports um, entertainment, then you know all for it, and you'll see their profits directly reflect that. So AMD has an earnings on the 27th of January, so I would definitely put a call out for AMD, especially seeing their growth and the growth of esports. So jumping back into Robinhood, so the 31st, so that's the end of the week for after the call. There's some calls out here. Some of them are a little pricey, but with the way I don't know why those are empty, but the way this has been growing, you know, I think definitely hit some of these prices, and you'll definitely see a return. I definitely see a ROI uh, instantly when it comes to that. Their growth has been exponential for about 3 months now, 3 or 4 months. So you know, seeing that moving forward after their earnings. I think you'll see the growth continue to grow. Having a call out on the 31st, it's kind of cutting it close since their earnings is on the 27th. So you could possibly look to find one on the following week, which would be on the 7th. So, give it enough time for people to reflect on the earnings. That's always a good thing. The more time, the better. I know a lot of people who trade options, they put their options way, way out in the future so they could buy it at a cheaper price. Um, you know, that's a good thing, but I haven't been able to predict the market that far ahead or predict the stock that far ahead. So this is the way I do it. I try to go with things that I know is going to yield high volume and high price volatility. Things like earnings, press releases of big moves in companies. Those things always bring high volume to the company. And you'll see with high volume, the stock price moves quite a bit. And that's what you want when you're trading options. You want to see the stock price move either way. If you're buying a put, you want to see large volumes in the stock price go down a lot. And if you're having a call, you want to see large volumes and you want to see the stock price go up a lot. So those are just two key takeaways from that. So my number three option that I would say out there is for Microsoft. So Microsoft has been growing like crazy as well. It's above their moving average 50, which is 154.06, and it's above their moving average 200, which is 138.29. So they're currently at 167.10. Um, and if we look at their chart, look at their 3 month chart, it's just been all growth the whole 3 months. It's just been just continuous growth. They had a little lull down here around December 19th, but it's just been, a continuous uptrend, uh, which is fantastic for the company and something to look forward to uh, when their earnings come out. So, jumping into some of their press releases. So, says KPMG expects to invest US 5 billion in digital strategy and expand Microsoft alliance to accelerate professional service transformation. So KPMG and Microsoft Corporation are strengthening their global relationship through a 5-year agreement to accelerate digital transformation for KPMG member firms and mutual clients. As part of the announcement to significantly invest in technology, people, and innovation, KPMG is modeling its workplace using Microsoft 365 suite of cloud-based collaboration and productivity tools, including Microsoft Teams. KPMG is also utilizing Microsoft Azure and its AI capabilities as a backbone for the new common global market-based platform. So basically, just another partnership of how people are using Microsoft to help better improve their businesses. 5-year agreement, that's always a good thing for long-term agreements of company growth. That they'll have a client and a partnership for 5 years. That's always a good thing, and it's good to see that the company, has continued to grow and has more things, moving forward and more contracts and that they can improve other people's businesses. So Microsoft has an earnings. The earnings is going to be the 29th. Um, so Wednesday the 29th is going to be their earnings. So if I was going to put a call out or a put out, I would probably go for, you know, the 31st is kind of cutting it close. So I would probably go for the 7th of February. So these are a little pricey, but, if you see the growth that they've had, it's not really, shocking to see why these prices are so high. There's one for 80 right here. Um, that's at a pretty decent price in my opinion. Uh, if we go and look at the growth, so yeah, it's a pretty decent price, in my opinion. So you could start off small, and you can continue to grow, but seeing this company and what they're doing and how they're performing, I think they'll have a pretty good earnings, just for the fact that their stock has just grown significantly in the past 3 months, and you know basically represents a whole quarter of growth. And once those numbers come out, I think they'll definitely shed some light on how they've grown their company and to see the continuous growth moving forward. So I think, they're going to have really good earnings, and it wouldn't be a shock to see them, hit a price like this especially a week after their earnings. So, you know, company stocks usually rally after the earnings. If you're putting a call out or a put out, um, the 31st and their earnings is on the 29th. I don't think you're going to have enough time to execute that to where the stock will have significant growth. So, give yourself a buffer and wait a week um, or 2 weeks even and see how the stock performs. And, giving yourself a buffer will always help in the long run when it comes to yielding profits because you want the market to reflect the break-even price that you have. So whether you have a put or a call, you want the market to get towards that. That's the goal of the option. So, the more time you give it, the better chance you have, but also the more expensive it's going to be. So you kind of have to find that range in between on risk to reward, basically. So I hope you guys liked that video. Those are my top 3 options to look for. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Like, comment, share. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.